once we actually got into the voting place, they were having problems with the machines that were there. There were only 3 machines, or maybe 4, that they had at the polling place, and one of them was down, and then the other 3 were malfunctioning. Folks were having problems recording their votes. They would click the candidate that they wanted, and it would not highlight the candidate, but then it would move on to the next candidate.
And these were the new voting machines?
Yeah, these are the new electronic voting machines.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what I ended up having to do with the machine in order to register my vote, I would have to continuously click the candidate until it actually put a check next to that candidate. And then when you click the next box on the voting machine, it wouldn't allow you to go to the next page until you click that next box several times.
That sounds kind of frustrating.
Yeah, and it was really frustrating because the polling place where I register my votes, it's a retirement community. There are lots of older voters that obviously came out early to try and get their votes in. Because they were having that administrative problem, they weren't able to stand. I mean, they had to leave because they couldn't continue waiting, and we waited about an hour. The polling place opened at 7, and the first voter walked out of that polling place at about 8:15. So it took us a while, or it took them a while, to even get it up and running. And once they did, and they were having continuous problems with the machine, they couldn't get through to the line that they were getting in order to troubleshoot the machine. So it was just a big problem.
What a domino effect of issues.
Yeah.
How did it make you feel knowing that this was the first election with the new voting machines, but then showing up and having these issues, not only yourself, but seeing everyone else struggle to get their vote cast?
I mean, it was really frustrating and a little disappointing, considering that these are new voting machines, and I would think that they would have been tested before they were actually out for us to cast our votes. But it appears that they were not. I understand we're going through a pandemic now, so perhaps there were some timing issues with getting the voting machines up and ready to go. But again, as I said, it was really frustrating to see that happen and to have to wait and with no answers about, how the problem will be resolved.
Yeah, I can understand why that would be so frustrating. Can you tell me what you saw in terms of coronavirus measures that were in place? What was different this time?
Well, there were definitely coronavirus measures in place. Everyone was 6 feet apart coming into the polling place, and while standing waiting to vote. They had us fairly separated. The polling workers were wearing masks. Most of the voters were wearing masks, so we were all protected in that way. They did provide a stylus for us to use, as opposed to you having to touch that voting machine, which I think was another measure that they put in place. So again, I did feel fairly protected when I was out voting.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, back to the voting issues. Your complaints are not the only ones we've heard this morning. In fact, we've been flooded with complaints and reports of issues, not just in Southwest Atlanta, but all over the metro. What goes through your mind when you hear that there are such seemingly widespread reports of issues?
I mean, I can't help but think about the voting issues that we've had here in the state of Georgia and the problems that we've had. Just leading up to this primary election, I think that we had some problems. There were problems with the absentee ballots, getting those out to those that submitted their absentee ballots via email. For some reason, those weren't prioritized and weren't processed, and there were no answers given. I'm feeling a little disappointed with the process right now, and I'm also not feeling confident that the votes are being registered as they should be, because they're having so many problems with the machine. I question whether or not those votes will actually process properly.
Has been quite a bumpy election season.
It has been.
All right, is there anything else that you think we should know about or look into?
I think that about covers that. I think that that's a big issue. Those machines not functioning properly, the delays, and no answers for the polling place workers. I think it's really frustrating for them too, as they stand there unable to answer our questions because they're on hold and they can't get answers to their questions.